All right, so this is Hannah and Kharra, and we're going to just do a quick little podcast. Kharra is my sister, and then Hannah is one of my closest friends.
Woo!
So we have known each other forever. Kharra and I have known each other forever. Hannah and I have known each other forever. But it's been, I feel like, a really big year for both of them, where I feel like literally just so much has happened, and so I just kind of wanted to talk about that and just kind of get excited together about everything that's happened.
Woo!
So it's super exciting. Guys, how's your day been?
It's been great. I just got back from Miami yesterday, so I'm just recovering. Getting back into the groove of things.
And Kharra, your day
good? My day's been good. I actually had a job interview this morning, so that was exciting. And I'm on spring break, so besides that, nothing crazy, but good day.
So I kind of want to talk about, like, what do you think this past year has been, like, the most powerful part of the whole year? You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's a big question.
That is a big question. Well, I think a big part for me was that me and Kara got baptized together, and also just, like, graduating college and, like, figuring out post-grad life has been
oh my gosh, so big.
Huge, because it's, like, the biggest transition ever, like, going from having this, like, structure and all these people around you to suddenly,
big.
like, being financially on your own, like, honestly completely just on my own and, like, figuring it out. But it's so amazing.
Oh my gosh, Hannah, so you like graduated like a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And then during that time, kind of a lot of crazy things happened, right? Because it was like you didn't know what you were doing, and then kind of everything lined up, right?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. So I remember over winter break, my parents sat me down and they were like, Hannah, whenever you graduate, like, we're cutting you off, so you need to figure it out or move home. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to move home, so I'm going to figure it out. So I started applying for jobs like crazy. Yeah. And basically, to make a long story short, I had these, like, 3 opportunities. I ended up with 3 opportunities. But before this happened and when I was still, like, confused about my future and, like, what I was going to do, I was in the gym one day. And this man started, like, talking to me, and we were the only 2 people in the gym.
Wow.
And one of the first questions he asked me was, are you a child of God? And I was like, yes. And at this point, we hadn't even, like, shared our names or anything. But suddenly, it just honestly felt like Earth had, like, gone away and that we were just, like, having this, like, conversation.
And I love it. He started it with, are you a child of God?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, and how'd you know to say yes?
Well, I was just like, of course I am. Like, I just knew I was. Yeah. And so we started talking about God, and, like I said, this guy didn't know, like, anything about me, but he was saying a lot of, like, stuff, like, specific about my family. Also, that day, one of my friends in high school committed suicide, and that day was her birthday, so I was, like, thinking a lot about her, and he brought up, like, the fruits of the spirit, and then also the other side, how there's, like, negative things that can then lead to suicide. So it was just crazy, like, how much stuff he was saying that was relevant to my life, and he didn't even know me. And then at one point he was like, I know that you're gonna have 3, like, paths to choose between, and he kind of, like, described the 3, like, not exactly what they were going to be, but more so, like, the differences between each of them. And so after I talked to him, I went back and, like, wrote all of this down in my journal, and then fast forward like a couple of months, I ended up having 3 paths to choose between, and the path that I ended up choosing, I think, was just, like, completely from God, and, like, nothing that, like, I did of my own to get, like, the current job I have, the living situation, like, everything just fell into place so quickly.
Wow.
And I know that it could have only been God that helped me do that.
That's insane. That's amazing. And so the opportunity, just how'd that happen? The working one.
Yeah, so I was in my 6th round of interviews for the sales job in Hawaii, because it was always my dream to move to Hawaii. And one day I was driving my little to the airport, and she was like, Hannah, I just applied for this internship in Malibu for this, like, Hawaiian fragrance brand. You should apply. So I dropped her off, went home, and immediately applied. And then within a week, I had my first interview, which went great. I got the offer, and then I was able to use my other jobs to kind of like negotiate my salary and stuff. But it ended up being perfect because I got to stay in Malibu. And like, I know that my year wouldn't have been what it was if I hadn't stayed, if I had gone to Hawaii.
Yeah.
But then I also got that piece of Hawaii because the company I work for like is a
Hawaiian
Hawaiian company. So
wow,
it was just perfect.
that's amazing. So good, Hannah. And then Kharra, you just graduated as well. So they both are kind of in the same period, but it's like Kara's like going to law school.
Yeah.
But what do you think? How do you like describe the
experience.
story of you getting into law school?
I feel like the story of me getting into law school really also was like a God story. Just because, and it's like kind of interesting sometimes to see it that way because it's easy to be like, oh, I did this, I did that. But if you really look at it from like the bigger perspective, it really kind of is a God story, just at least specifically for me, because I kind of in college, like I wasn't as focused maybe as I should have been sometimes. And I kind of was like, okay, whatever. I know I want to go to law school. Like it's been my goal since I was like a baby. Like as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. And I feel like then in college, I kind of lost sight of that a little bit and was just more about like having fun and like being with my friends. And it kind of took like a back burner. And I feel like it was really God that kind of like kept that like little bit of like motivation in me to like keep going, keep trying. Because I really could have gotten so sidetracked, but like something in me like kind of just kept me like focused and like honed in on that a little bit. And then I remember I came home for winter break, and this was like, I guess just a little over a year ago now, which is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I came home for winter break, and I obviously was not prepared to go to law school next year. I had not taken my LSAT. I hadn't done my essays. Like, none of that was done. And I told my mom, I was like, I think I'm going to take a gap year, and then I'll go in the next cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, no, Kharra, I think you should try and go next year. And I was like, there's no way that's going to happen because I haven't taken my LSAT, I haven't written an essay, I don't have rec letters, like none of it was figured out. But I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna try. And I knew I really wanted to go to Pepperdine. That was my only school that I wanted to go to. It was like my top choice. So whatever, I like locked in for like 2 months, studied, took my LSAT. I didn't do amazing by any means, but I did just like good enough basically to get in. And then somehow, like, I got the rec letters, I got the essays, and I got into Pepperdine. And it was really crazy because I didn't know that I didn't get accepted until July. So from graduation in May until end of July, I was just kind of like in limbo and didn't really know what I was going to do next year. And I remember I'd always talk to Capra, and she would be like, Kharra, just like really enjoy this time because God's going to work it out and you're going to regret being like stressed. Because I was like, I feel like I should have an internship right now. I feel like I should be doing all these things to kind of like prepare myself for when I don't get in so that I can reapply and try and get in again. And she was like, Capra just kept reminding me, like, trust God, like it's all going to work out. And then I remember I got home from a trip and I checked my email and I'd gotten in. And yeah, and it was just kind of crazy, like the way that I like felt my life kind of change in like the span of like 4 months,
yeah,
like 2 months, like from the time I decided to start studying to the time I got in was actually like maybe like 5 months at the most. So it was like, wow, I have this.
And people like spend their whole
so people spend like a really long time on this. So I was kind of like,
and Pepperdine's a good
Pepperdine's like a good law school for, especially for kind of what I was bringing to the table at that point. To be so real, but so yeah, and then I kind of just felt like this, like almost like weight, but like opportunity also to kind of be like, okay, I'm starting this new chapter, like God's given it to me, and now it's kind of like my job to also like steward it and use what he gave me and not just be like, okay, that was me, like I got in, like whatever, I can keep like doing whatever and I don't know, maybe being like distracted like I was in college. And so, I mean, it's definitely been like a back and forth, but I feel like this last chapter of my life, I've really just been more, I don't know, trying to walk in a way that's like honoring that opportunity that I've been given, because now it's like I live in California, I love it, I go to school in Malibu, it's like I have such an amazing life, and
Wow,
I
it's
am
like a
so
gift.
it's such a gift.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I feel like, I don't know, I try to like make God happy. I don't know. But yeah, I don't even remember what the question was.
It was literally just like the getting into
Yeah.
college.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. Yeah. So cool. Hannah, what do you feel like after like college? What do you guys feel? Like what do you feel has been like the big thing that you took away from like all those years? Like because now it's kind of a year after, you're kind of able to like see it more, right? I feel. And like what do you feel like was like the takeaway of those years?
For me, I definitely feel like it was community
Yeah.
because I feel like growing up in like basically the same town my whole life, like I had all these friends that I had just like known for forever.
Yeah.
And then coming to Pepperdine, like I was so lucky that I had like met my roommates like on Instagram before and showed up and we just like clicked. And it's so special to me that like friends in college genuinely become your family because
so true.
your like actual family isn't there and you're kind of like living every single day with them, like doing everything together. And so I feel like that was especially shown when the girls passed away.
Yeah.
And like just like how strong our community really is at Pepperdine. Because I remember at that moment my parents were like, do you want to go home? Like you can come home and we'll just like take care of you here. But I was like, honestly, like I just need to be around like the people that understand it and like my friends that had become like my family.
Yeah.
And I just honestly felt like so supported throughout all 4 years at Pepperdine.
Wow.
And like graduating now too, like the friendships that I've made have stayed so strong. And I feel like even meeting people that I like maybe wasn't necessarily as close with in college, you kind of have that like shared bond, and then you can build a really strong friendship now, even like post grad,
So
which has been so cool.
So true. Do you want to share the story of like the day of? Would that be
Yeah,
okay? I'm
yeah.
sorry. It's a really crazy. I don't know. It's a total God story, but I'm sure it like also leaves a lot of confusion. So it's like an interesting.
Yeah. It's a crazy story, and like I still feel like I haven't like super come to terms with it.
It's so funny because okay, so this is not funny. None of this is funny, but but is so Hannah and I were in college together.
Mm-hmm.
She was a year younger, but my grade, which like your sisters, because you guys were all in the same sorority. A group of girls, which like one of my best friends like passed away in this crazy tragic accident. That's like actually like insanely ridiculous because the odds of it happening are like probably
like
0.01.
Nothing. Yeah.
I don't know.
None.
Like none. And it's like this, I don't even still understand
like
what
this.
happened. It's like this situation where just completely tragic, makes no sense. And I think, like it was a very like, it really did show, I think, how Pepperdine really is this very close school.
Mm-hmm.
And like when something like that happens, like it did bring everybody together. But that doesn't make it, better.
Yeah, not at all.
But anyways, Hannah has a crazy,
story. Which is a God moment, but also
confusing.
Mm-hmm. So basically, the week leading up to the accident, like all of my roommates had car troubles. Like one of them got her into a car accident. Her car got totaled. I drove her to the ER. Like two of my other roommates had car problems, so they couldn't drive. And then my car broke down. So my parents ended up like sending me these people to come pick up my car because it was completely broken as well. So they were going to ship it back home so that they could like fix it and just like figure out what next steps were. But the people that came on the Tuesday of the event that my sorority was all going to. And Neve, one of the girls, was supposed to go with me that night. We had been like talking about it all day, like talking about our outfits, like what we were going to wear. And at the last minute, she convinced her roommates to go with her. And then I ended up going like a tiny bit later because the people that came to pick up my car didn't speak English. So I was honestly just like having trouble communicating with them because they had to get my big like car like out onto PCH, which is like such a hard thing to do. And it was just hard because we couldn't communicate. So I ended up leaving maybe like 5 minutes later than I was supposed to. And so my friends were driving me to the event, and we drive past the house that it was at. And in the span of the time that we like drove past the house and pulled a U-turn, like the accident happened behind us. So it was literally like 30 seconds, like such a short amount of time.
Because you were turning?
Yeah, I didn't see the actual like crash happen, but I remember seeing like Ash's car was flipped over. Like it was just really chaotic and confusing.
Like what happened?
Yeah. So we go into the house, and they were like, Hannah, like something really bad just happened, but we don't know what. And so I kind of stayed outside with like some of the older people, but it never even crossed my mind that like anyone that we knew would have been hurt, or even like anything would have happened to anyone we knew, because that's just like so out of the scope of like anything you would ever think. And so I was like, there's no way, like, guys, I'm sure everything's gonna be fine. But like as the night went on, it was just like clear that things weren't. And again, I didn't think it was any of our friends, because a bunch of people got turned around because PCH was closed. So
they could have just not made it.
Okay. Yeah, because tons of people just didn't make it. And I remember like texting Neve, and like obviously it was a text that was never answered, which that was also like one of the hardest things for the longest time, just like knowing that in that moment, like I was still thinking that she was still here, and like they were still with us, and like they just weren't. But I guess like the God moment for me was that I feel like he saved me for some reason, and like I just felt the biggest, honestly, like guilt for the longest time of like, why did he save me and not them? Like, why am I still here and like they're not? And I still don't really know what that reason is. But I'm sure that he left me here like for a good positive reason. But it was just like honestly the craziest thing, and something that I don't think none of us will ever like fully understand or like be able to come to terms with, really.
No, it's really interesting. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Hannah.
Yeah.
No, it is really, it's like what I can like, this is what happened. This, you like, help, you save me in this way. And like, what am I supposed to do with that? Because this is still fully not an okay situation. Yeah, it's really hard, Hannah. How do you think death impacted the way you see God? Or like, what do you think? Because I feel like for me, that was a huge, like, kind of just like moment of like, for me, I think it really helped. What I really took away from that was like, this life is not where you can put all your like cards in. Yeah. Like that was my big. I was like, so I can like have a great life here, and like I'll try my best to have a good time and like be sweet and all the good things, but it is not the place that things are gonna go perfect, and they might actually go literally weirdly horrifically unperfect. And so I can't put my focus here, and the only reason that any of that's okay is because my focus is not here. Otherwise, it's not okay, right? So for me, that was like my big like, oof. All right, well, not gonna put my cards in this world as much anymore. You know, like really. What do you think that kind of, I don't know, after time of trying to heal, and like, what do you think you kind of took away?
Yeah, well, at first, honestly, I was just like so angry at God and almost kind of doubting, because I was like, how could a God that is so good let this happen? Because there was like, not like, it seems like nothing positive has come out of it. And I think like great things have come out of like everyone healing together and like bringing everyone together.
But it's easy to be like, okay, but this could have happened without this.
Exactly.
We still could have like had a kumbaya moment.
Exactly. Like it just feels like there was no reason, and it was something so horrible. So I'm like, God, like why would you do that? But then I feel like the other part of it is that like believing that God is real and that heaven is real kind of made healing easier. And I know we've talked about this because like we know that they're in heaven like watching down on us. So that just gives me peace that they're in no pain anymore, they're in a better place, and that they're still here even though they're not physically here on earth. Like there with our Father, and like there's no better place.
They're safer than us.
Exactly. And then the other thing I think that it made me realize is just really how short life is.
Yeah.
Because like we were like 20 to 21 when this happened, and like I had already felt that like my life had been so long that I've like done all these things, like gone through all these things, like had all these like problems that I was dealing with, but then something like that happens and you're like, wait, like none of my problems really mean anything. Like they're all so small compared to like the grand scheme of like our entire lives. And so I think it just made me really grateful. Like I remember waking up every day after that and just being like, I don't know why I'm still here, but like I'm grateful that I am.
Wow.
And also, I guess like going a little deeper, like being from a town where suicide was so prevalent, like mental health was such a big thing for like me and a bunch of other people from my high school growing up. So then I feel like after the accident happened, I was like, I will like never think like that about myself ever again. I will never like think like so negatively of myself, because you see how like losing a life can impact like the community so hard,
deeply,
like so deeply, Hannah. And it's almost like, I don't know, it just made me so grateful that
how valuable we actually are, how priceless we are, and like, oh my gosh. And then when you think about also like, okay, God did it, like God separated this from me, and I don't know why, but that just also shows it's like, you're such a precious, and then and them passing away, like the impact, oh my gosh, so true. It's like they were so they are still so precious, insanely precious, like beyond value.
And will be forever.
And so true, Hannah. That's so true. Wow. And it is interesting because some stuff it's like you kind of just don't get.
You don't. I don't think
I'll
ever
you just don't get
it.
And I think that's the kind of thing is just, all right, God, okay.
Yeah.
I know that you're good. I know that you like are completely good, and I don't get this, and so I'll just talk to you about how I'll just give this to you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get it.
And you kind of just have to trust him.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what faith is, like.
Yeah.
Believing in things when there's no like explanation.
Yes, so true. So true. And I feel like it's really interesting because I feel like for me after that, like trusting him and kind of just being like, oh yeah, this is super weird and like super hard and like the most hard thing I've ever gone through, but I trust you, and I feel like the comfort you do feel after that and like the presence you feel, it's like really interesting because it's like I'm sure for him that's just such a sweet, he's like thanks for trusting me. I know this is hard, but thanks for trusting me.
Because I think it takes a lot after something like that. Totally.
She's like, I'm sorry, thank you for trusting me. Wow. Kharra, how do you feel? Like, what was one of the big things that, like, how did you feel after college? Like, what do you think, like, after going through, like, 4 years of school? Kharra went to Tulane University.
Roll wave.
Well, you know one situation that kind of came to my mind with Hannah was talking about, like, and this is very different, but Kharra had this crazy situation where she was in the road.
Where I almost got hit.
And she almost got hit.
Yeah. That was
very
crazy.
Different. But slightly similar.
Slightly similar. I mean, also I just want to say, like, Hannah, I'm so happy. Like, you're so valuable. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to say that right. But, yeah, I feel like I had a lot of moments like that in undergrad where it kind of felt like maybe God was trying to, like, be like, wake me up and be like, can you stop? Because I definitely was, like, I don't know, not being, like, the best all the time. But, yeah, that moment that Kat was talking about, one time I was, like, leaving Bourbon Street, and I was calling an Uber, and I was the one, like, calling the Uber, and, like, my friends were walking behind me, and I was just, like, walking, not thinking, just, like, looking at my phone, trying to, like, figure out where it was, and I'm just walking, whatever, not thinking, and then I, like, get up to, like, Canal Street, and, like, I didn't even know what happened, but, like, all of a sudden, I was just, like, on the ground, and I was, like, freaking out, because I got, like, the wind knocked out of me. I was, like, super confused. I was, like, because nothing hit me. So I was just, like, wait, like, why am I, like, on the ground right now? And then all these people were, like, rushing around me. Like, the people that I were with were, like, freaking out, like, crying. I was like, oh, my gosh, what just happened? I start crying because I'm like, I don't know what just happened. Like, I'm freaking out. These, like, older women are, like, coming to me, and they're like, she's in, because I was like, I got up and I was like, I'm fine. Like, I'm at, because what happened was a motorcycle had, like, skidded out, like, maybe, like, 100 feet before me. And so it was, like, skidded out and, like, ran down the street, and it, like, nipped me, which is, like, kind of crazy, because, like, it just, like, nipped me, but, like, the
enough
momentum,
for her to, like, fall onto the ground.
yeah, the momentum of it just, like, going by
gosh.
me, and, like, I don't even know, maybe it, like, hit my jacket or something, was enough to, like, knock me onto the ground. And so, like, everyone's freaking out. I'm, like, getting up, and I'm like, I think I'm fine. Like, I feel fine. And, like, all these people are like, no, like, she's in shock. Like, she's not okay. Like, sit. Like, and so that was, like, making me freak out even more, because I was like, okay, maybe I'm not okay. Maybe I am in shock. And, like,
maybe I got hit.
No, literally, I was like, wait, maybe they're right. Like, okay, I must have backed down. But, no, and then, like, the ambulance came, and, like, they had to, like, do a police report of, like, everyone I was with, and, like, me, and, like, yeah, it was, like, a whole crazy moment. I, like, didn't even tell anyone about it for a while, because I was like, I didn't want to freak people out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but, like, things like that happened, and I always, like, I don't know. I feel like it was just one of those things that I was like, I feel like God's trying to be like, Kharra, like, can you stop? You know? But, like, that was crazy. And
or he's just, like, yeah, moving you from a situation.
Yeah. Because it could have been way worse if I had been, like, one step ahead.
And it is so interesting when you think about that. Like, when does he intervene? When is he like, I'm going to move my daughter to the side?
Yeah.
Or when does he not? It's, like, crazy.
No, yeah. Because I remember, like, even, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's really easy just to, like, put things off and be like, I don't really want to think about that. And I feel like that was one of those things that I didn't really think about. I was just kind of like, oop, like, I was crazy, you know? But, like, when I look back, I have, like, that moment, and then just, like, other moments where I'm like, I feel like, yeah. Like, even my moment from a few nights ago, where it's like God's just being like, Kharra, like, just stop, you know? And it's kind of, like, obvious in a way, but yeah, that was crazy.
Wow. So you, for college though, you feel like it was just kind of just like a lot of him being like moving you out of situations a little bit, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've talked to you about this a little before. Like, I feel like in high school, like, I never really had, like, anxiety or anything like that, and then, like, going to college was, like, the first time I, like, experienced any of that, and I feel like a lot of it was, like, my own fault for, like, putting myself in situations and, like, doing things that I, like, not, like, shouldn't be, because I didn't do anything, like, crazy, but, like, I don't know, just, like, not maybe, like, being as obedient or, like, responsible as I should be. And I feel like that's something, like, when I look back on college, I'm not, like, ever, like, I guess that regretful, because I feel like everything happens for a reason, but it's, like, easier to kind of see, like, the perspective of maybe it wasn't, like, the best way to be living. I don't know. It's so hard, though, when you're in college and, like, everyone's, like, doing it, and you're like, I think I'm fine, but I don't know.
Have you noticed, like, so, like, then you move to Malibu, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna, like, kind of try to take this, maybe you're like, I'm gonna steward this well. That sounds like that's what you're saying, right? You're like, I'm here, I'm gonna steward my life well. And for you, that kind of meant, like, okay, I'm gonna try to, like, what did that mean for you?
Well, I mean, part of it is, like, I met so many more people that were, like, because Tulane, there was really not a large Christian community, so that was, like, a hard thing for me. But then moving here, I met some people like Hannah, and, like, being with Capra, and, like, being with everyone who, like, has very similar views. So that made it a lot easier to kind of be like, okay, I don't have to be perfect, but, like, these are ways that I can, like, small little things that I can do to, like, I don't know, just, I don't even know, because I don't want to sound, like, really crazy, like, live better, but, like, live more, like.
Well, it's really interesting, because I feel like the thing is, it's, like, it's not about what we do, it's, like, about what God does.
Yeah.
And then from that, it's, like, you like, your desires change. So it's really not, like, I don't think he's asking us to be more I mean, I think obedience is like a reaction to
Yeah.
love, right? So
And
it's not like
I'm still like by no means perfect, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like almost it's like a mindset shift, you know? Cuz like I'll still like I don't know, go out or like go to a dinner and get like a drink, but it's like I'm going for like a different reason now. So I feel like that's almost like we've talked about that. Like I feel like that's like a shift. I don't know.
yeah. So okay, so you both pretty much got baptized around the same time.
We got baptized together.
We got baptized the same
day.
day.
Like maybe same 10 minutes.
But what do you feel like? So it sounds like it's like you guys both went to college, normal life.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much crazy life, to be honest.
Yeah.
Both went through near life death experiences.
Yeah.
Life flashed before your eyes. And then it's like, okay, like, what do you feel like? Because I feel like, I mean, post-grad is a lot. It's like, okay, now I'm on my own. Like, this is my life, like, a little bit. I think that's a big, not my, I don't know. It's like, more like this is the life I'm deciding to live instead of this is the life that's just been around me. And I guess I'm just wondering, like, you guys kind of graduate and where do you, because I think it's like, what led you to the idea of getting baptized? What led you to the idea of, like, a deeper relationship with Jesus? Like, what was the thing that led you to that? You whatever feels right, you can say.
Okay, well, for me, I think it was like the fact that I was finally choosing to follow God for myself.
Wow.
Because I grew up Christian, like going to church every single week with my family was just something that I did.
Yeah.
And I feel like
so many people.
Yeah. And then once I went to Pepperdine, I kind of kept doing it because, like, I think in a way to please my parents. Because
Really?
they've always expected like so much of me and like
Yeah.
have really stressed the fact that they want me to be like a good Christian and then
a good
student, like just a good person in general.
Yeah. Hannah's got very high expectations.
Yeah. And so I think I was still doing it just because like every week like my parents would call me and be like, did you go to church this week? And then like I would be able to say yes. And also just because again, at Pepperdine, it's kind of just something you do. Like,
yeah, people go.
You're surrounded by other Christians. Like, you go to convocation every Wednesday.
Yeah.
You go to church on Sunday. But then post-grad, it was finally a moment where there was no one, like, asking me anymore. And there was no, like, structure of it. But I was kind of just finally, like, actually, like, I do want to give my whole life to Jesus and follow him. And then I was like choosing to go to church on Sunday because I wanted to, not because I wanted to please my parents, not because it was just like the thing to do.
Yeah, so there's like a heart shift in that, yeah.
But because I actually wanted to. And then especially after going through Alpha, I think that just really solidified that like this was the life I wanted to live.
What about the Alpha course like most stood out?
I think it was really interesting to go through Alpha as someone who grew up a believer, but then rehear all of these big
main
questions.
Points and like questions. So good.
Yeah, that you kind of don't think about anymore after you've been like believing in God for your whole life.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to hear like the doubts and the questions and all of the answers surrounding them. And just like learn more about like the basics. Because I feel like when you're in it for so long, you kind of forget.
So
and you forget
like, what am I really following? What
exactly.
am I doing here?
And you kind of forget why people do it. Like you forget that people grow up and like don't know God at all, and then they can find God. So it's like hearing all of the testimonies, like hearing all of the stories, just like learning about Jesus from a very basic perspective.
And what do you feel like was your takeaway of like who is Jesus? You know?
I mean, I think he's just like God's son and someone that loves us unconditionally. And literally the fact that he like gave up his life for us is crazy.
Oh, it's insane.
And I don't think you fully realize that until you come close to death. Yeah. And then you're like, wait, he like came to earth, was a human, and then decided to give that up so that he could save me. Yeah. Like why would he do that, you know? Like, because obviously none of us are perfect. We're all sinners. Yeah. We all grew up like so just like not perfect, but he still chose to give up his entire life for us. So and I just think that's like the craziest thing ever.
It totally is.
So going through Alpha just really solidified that I want to be like a daughter of Christ forever and like eventually be with him in heaven.
Wow, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And what do you feel like, so like walking with Jesus in the past, like whatever, like months, like where do you feel like, I don't know, what has that experience been for you?
I think, because again, I've always sort of been doing
Yeah.
it, but now I think I'm a lot more intentional about like trying to journal every day, like praying, not just like before meals, like again, not just the sort of structure and like not just
not just like
like,
checking the box.
Exactly. And not just turning towards him when I'm in a dark place, but actually like trying to build a relationship with him. And that's still something that I'm trying to figure out every day. But
so cool.
I think that's just something that I've been doing more intentional because I genuinely want to now.
Yeah.
Like not just because I want to please someone else.
What would you say to somebody who's like in college and like maybe like whatever, they're like kind of down with it but don't really care too much? And like what would you say, like what do you think would be like the, I don't know, what is something that you would have wanted to like hear, you know?
Yeah, because I guess that was me
Last
in college. That was
you
me
can remember
last
it
year.
pretty well.
I can remember it like super well. I think it's really, you kind of like get what you put into it.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's so cool because I've had moments where like I've turned towards sin, or I've like wanted to go and like party all the time, or like do all the college things.
Yeah.
And I will like not think about God for like X amount of weeks, but it's so cool that God is always pursuing us, like
So
no matter how far we turn. So I think like realizing that he's gonna keep chasing you and like fighting for you always,
cool.
no matter what. And like why wouldn't you want to have a relationship with someone like that?
That's chasing
after
you. And that's cool too when you said like you get what you put in. It's like, well, not, it's kind of not, it's more like his hand's always here, so you get more of him when you put in,
get whatever you're willing to receive.
So good.
Yeah, because he's always
because he's always like, and you're just like, okay, let's do it. So cool.
Yeah.
Wow, Hannah, that's amazing. Kharra, what do you think? What do you think you would tell yourself, in college?
I feel like that
was a great question because it's like a year ago.
Yeah, it's so recent.
Yeah, I feel like really you get what you put in. That's big because, like he's always gonna be pursuing you, and like it's never like he's gonna abandon you, but like at the same time, you're not gonna get as much as if you're not putting in as much. But so I probably tell myself that, and then also, I don't know. I feel like that was a good one. I guess like
I'd say what Hannah said.
Yeah, so I'd say the same thing as Hannah said. That was good. Or maybe I feel like maybe I would tell myself also that like faith grows, because that was like a hard thing for me.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like having faith is like so complicated, and one day you'll be like, oh, like I would jump off a building for God, and the next day you're like, oh, I don't know, like that seems a little crazy. So, and it can be really frustrating, I feel like, at first, because you're like, why can't I just believe like fully and like just fully be like, yes, But I feel like it grows, and like it's not gonna always be like a overnight like shift thing. So like I feel like I tell myself that because I feel like that can be frustrating.
Yeah,
and
when
I feel
somebody
like
just is like, this second I found out,
and I feel like
and that can be some people's story.
Yeah, and it's amazing in some people's story, but I also feel like whenever I like talk to like people who don't believe, like I feel like that's like a big thing for them. It's like they just don't believe, and I'm like, well, it can grow. Like it doesn't have to be like you pick up your Bible and all of a sudden you're like, God's real, like it can grow, and then all of a sudden one day you do wake up and you pick up your Bible and you're like, yeah, duh, God's real.
And what do you feel like for you has been like the most, like, I don't know, like why would you even have a relationship with Jesus? Like what's the point? Like, because if like all these are, you know what I mean? Like what's the point?
I don't know. I feel like for me it's just brought a lot of peace to my life. Like I feel like before, when I wasn't following Jesus as much, I had like a lot more like unpeace. Like I had a lot more like anxiety, and like I would get more stressed out, and I would just be more kind of like, I don't know, less peaceful. And I feel like just like having that kind of really can help ground you. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it brings peace, and like I mean, outside of that, like, community, like, I've met so many amazing people, and I feel like, I don't know, it seems, like, really confusing for me to, like, go through life and be like, I have no idea. So I think it brings, like, an overall, like, peace.
What about you, Hannah? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with everything Kharra said. But also, I think it kind of gives you purpose as well. Because I think another thing I've struggled with post-grad is, like, what is my purpose in life? Like, what am I here on earth to do? Like, what career path am I supposed to go down? Like, how can I make a big impact? Like, how, like, what's gonna make my life, like, worth my time on earth, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think that following Jesus kind of gives you a purpose, because our purpose is, like, to be his children.
Yeah.
And to spread his word and just to live a life like him. And
So good.
I think that it has given me a lot of peace just knowing that that's enough for him, you know?
So
like,
good.
He doesn't need more than
That's
that.
so good, Hannah. Yeah. Like, I'm just being his kid.
Yeah.
And I'm loving people and I'm being the light. So,
Yeah.
like, like,
that's my purpose.
That's my purpose. So good. Wow, guys, this has been such a good convo. What do you feel like, I don't know, like, what's been, like, something that, like, is, I don't know, what are some, like, mysteries or, like, doubts that you guys still kind of, like, wrestle with?
I feel like it's hard having, like, really strong faith when there's nothing super tangible that we can hold on to.
Yeah, so true.
And just the concept of all of it is, like, bigger than our minds can ever wrap around, you know? Like, sometimes I think about heaven and I'm like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Yeah, so I think that, but then at the same time, there's been so many moments in my life where God has proven himself to be real, you know? So even though there's nothing tangible I can hold on to, and, like, that does create doubts, I feel like there's certain moments that I can point out where I can be like,
but this was tangible
that
in my
was
heart.
that was not like
that
an earthly thing that happened.
Wow.
Yeah, so for me, probably that.
What were you, Kharra?
Like a mystery? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that, like, all of it can sound so crazy, like, when you think about it, to be like, oh yeah, someone, like, rose from the dead and, like, all of that. But I don't know, I just feel like, yeah, it's, like, something you're not really meant to understand, and, like, you're never going to. And, like, sometimes when I'm, like, super just like, okay, this seems, like, kind of hard to believe, I just remind myself that, like, it's so human to not really believe it. Because, like, sometimes, like, if you, like, read the Bible, they'll be like, oh, God, like, literally, like, I don't know, like, opened the ocean for, like, these Israeli people, or yeah, and to get away from the Egyptians, and, like, they still in the desert stopped believing in him. So it's like not really, like, well, I don't know. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
It's, like, very human to not believe. It's really interesting too, though, because one thing
and
that
it's like we probably never would believe. Like, he could do something crazy and we might still not believe.
No, it is. I feel like that's the thing. It has, like, probably. It's really interesting because I think one thing I think about is, like, as much as we think that this stuff's crazy, the stuff that's in front of us is crazier.
Yeah.
We just have this idea that the stuff, I don't know, we just kind of I don't know, it's really interesting because if you, like, whatever, like, really think about the stars or the ocean.
Yeah.
Any of those things are just as crazy.
Yeah.
And then when you recognize that, I think it, like, kind of puts into perspective, like, oh, like, all of us are believing crazy things. Like, even if a scientist is like, I only believe in science, it's like, well, science is actually insane.
It is crazy.
And, like, crazy. And, like, definitely, in my opinion, points to God, because, like, that is wild. Like, that's crazy. That's not a solid, like, this.
I've never thought about it that way.
Oh, it's so
crazy.
Good.
Everything
and so it's like, everything is really crazy. We just have this idea that we have things under control. And I think that's the thing with, like, the Bible. It's more of, like, letting go of control. And that control thing, which we never have.
No.
Like, that's what you learn with, that's like, death, too. It's like, you don't have control.
That I feel like believing in God, like, gave me peace over. Because I feel like a lot of the times when I'd be stressed out, it'd be, like, because you feel like you don't have control. And it's like, well, you don't need control because God's in control. And, like,
so good.
he's doing, like, it's all going to be good. You know? Like, you don't need to worry about, like, that test grade or like whatever it is.
It's
that
all
day.
in his hand.
Yeah.
So
I think
good.
it's good.
So like, if you were talking to somebody and they were kind of like, should I like? Because it kind of sounds like a lot of people, I think, feel like it's okay. Like they're kind of like, okay, like Jesus is fine, like whatever. But why would you actually sell out for him? Like, what's the difference between any other religion? Like, why would you actually be like, okay, this is a question for your, like, I guess for us all, right? To like really, because it's like you don't want to just like, why would you actually sell out for Jesus? Like, there's a lot of things to sell out for, right? Like, you could sell out for a lot of things, but why would you actually put your faith in Jesus, not just any other God, right? Like, what is the what do you feel in your heart? And not necessarily like you have to come up with some crazy answer, but like, why would they? Why?
Yeah, I guess for me, it's like almost a bit harder to answer just because I grew up like just knowing that he was real.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like from what we learned in Alpha, there's just there's so much evidence that like points to him being real. And I think that other religions like might not have all of like the backing behind it. I don't know. This is such a hard question.
It's a good one to ask, I think, though, for like even ourselves.
Yeah. I also think that like Christians, like the morals that we follow are all like very positive. Like they're all making us into better people, like making us more loving. And I think that's something I think about a lot too, is that even if God wasn't real, which I know he's real, but even if he wasn't real, me being a Christian and living like Jesus is like not gonna do anything negative to my life. It's only gonna make it better, you know? That's a hard question.
It's a hard question. What do you think, Kharra?
I feel like, I don't know, because it's kind of like one of those things that like you just know when you know, which like is a real thing, because like if you think about like love, like you only know when you know.
That's so true.
So like we all believe love is real. So like I feel like when you're like following God, you just kind of like get to a point where you just like know, like you're like, I know God's real. You just know.
But not just God, like Jesus.
Well, yeah, Jesus, but like the whole thing. And
because I feel like a lot of, that's what I'm saying. It's like I think a lot of people believe in God.
But also I feel like the reason that you would like sell out for God and maybe not like another God would be, I feel like he's really like loving and really good. Like I've had so many times where I could like be super upset about something, or like something could be like taken a completely different way, and then and sometimes it's not always, but like if I like sit and I like read my Bible and I like actually really like think about it and like pray, it's just crazy. Like you just feel better, and there's like no explanation, like nothing changed, the situation's the same, like literally it could be like a 5-minute difference and you're like, wow, like God really just like comforted me, you know? So I feel like that's a good thing, because like, I don't know, other religions, maybe their God's like not super loving, and like I don't know. So if you're trying to like sell out for him, it's like he really loves you and cares about you.
I think another thing is that, especially with Jesus, like the relationship is so personal.
So true.
And like there's so much emphasis on like you can like talk to him all the time, like he's your friend. And he like cares about each one of us like so deeply and so specifically, versus other religions where it might be more like, I don't know, there's like certain things you have to do. Like you have to like prove yourself in certain ways, or you have to earn love in certain ways. But with Jesus, it's like, no, like he just gives his love for free and just loves everyone. Yeah. Like no matter what.
Like the same, what you were saying with the cross. It's like he literally just gives his love.
Like you don't have to be anyone. You don't have to like do anything specific to like earn his love. Like he's always just gonna love you.
He's always gonna love you. So good, Hannah. Preach, Hannah. Yeah. I guess that's something that I always think about. I think there's a lot of different gods and there's a lot of different like ways that people see it, but there's no other God well, the idea is like that I feel like is interesting. It's just like there's us and there's God, and we all know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that like I mean, some people might say I don't know that, but like they believe in like what's like science, and I feel like that's another God. I don't know, like
There's
it's all us and something bigger.
in.
Yeah.
And I think like it's really interesting because a lot of religions, I feel like it's like us trying to figure out a way to talk to this thing, trying to figure out a way to have a relationship with this thing. And Christianity is the only one where he tries to have a relationship with us. And how are we supposed to have a relationship with it if he doesn't do that?
Yeah.
Like because we know that. Like we can't have a relationship with God. Yeah, you can, but why can you? Only because he's coming down and doing that for you.
Yeah.
You can't
like,
do it
why
on
would
yourself.
a big God like care about you?
Yeah, and like you can be in so and I mean I don't know the ins and outs of so many different religions, but it's like that's the part. It's like, okay, yeah, it doesn't make sense for us to have a relationship with God unless something like that happens.
Yeah.
Unless he comes down and dies for us and is now in us, and like the whole thing is crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So here we are. Okay, well, this was such a good conversation, guys. I'm so excited.
Me too.
No, seriously, I'm so excited for everything that's happening. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so excited for everything that's happening in your guys' lives. And I'm just so excited for, this entire year and everything that's coming. It's going to be so good.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. She just like, woo! Like,
Yeah.